Guys, this is the cherry on top.
So we're gonna
Hold on, let me finish the third one.
Yeah.
Grant is going to get punished.
They want 1 million. They want 10 million.
Dude,
they want $1 billion.
I don't think they do.
D-N-fucking-A. I can fundamentally make almost any human do it.
Thank you.
How old are you?
57.
I'm 40.
Who works harder, me or you?
Me. I'm complicated.
You don't really know anything about me.
You're right.
Right there. I got more than you.
That.
I would not let Gary have this one for $1 million. Today I bring to you a special interview. This interview is special because it contains a lot of valuable information. As I was watching the interview, I was like, I definitely have something. I was looking at it and it's like, I definitely need to do this one because it's wow. It's this is a bomb. We have an interview. This is the host, it's Grant Cardone. And this guy has a YouTube channel. You can go check him out later. And this is the guest. Gary Vaynerchuk also has like a very successful YouTube channel. You can also check him out. What I want you to pay close attention in this interview, in this breakdown, is how actually Gary, the guest, is going to dominate the shit out of his host, out of Grant Cardone. And although Grant, I've seen other of his interviews, he acts many times as an alpha, this time didn't know how to manage Gary's energy. Grant Cardone, this is his show, this is his YouTube channel, his audience, but he's going to give away a part of his audience to Gary Vaynerchuk. People follow leaders. People follow, they look at those guys in this case, right? And they say, okay, I want to decide which one is the best, which is the best person in here that is going to teach me something. And I'm going to follow that person. You know, this influence, those things happening, people actually, and audience are actually leaving one channel and going to the other. This is real. And it's not just audience, it's actually money. And this is big money. If you are a big YouTube celebrity, this is your brand. So this is not something that I would play with. So let's start.
Down here every week I bring you somebody in power and somebody generous enough with their time that is in power that can actually share their time. This is Gary Vaynerchuk.
And right now we have parents that are so micromanaging their kids and aren't allowing them to be them. They're doing what makes the parent feel good. They want to put a fucking Harvard sticker on their car.
So we're gonna
hold on, let me finish the third one.
Yeah.
And the third one.
You're going to see that Grant is going to get punished. He's going to get brutally beaten in this interview. As the relationship is established between those two guys, it looks like more like Grant is kind of like a student and Gary is the teacher.
My brother-in-law, Justin, who I love with all my heart, has been working at Wine Library for the last 15 years. He's now going to come and do recruiting for VaynerMedia because I think it's about putting players in a position to succeed. His people skills are gnarly, unbelievable.
He's good at it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so
I'm terrible at people.
So first off, if you interrupt, make sure that you have a goddamn good reason because your audience is actually paying attention. And in this case, it's not just that you are interrupting with not a good reason, but you interrupt also to undermine your authority even further.
Yeah.
And so
I'm terrible at people.
But the problem is everybody watching right now, they want 1 million. They want 10 million.
Dude,
they want $1 billion.
I don't think they do.
Oh, you're going to see how actually Grant tries here to say, you know what, I don't agree with this. Look, this is how I see it, right? And watch what Gary does.
The people I talk to don't want enough because they think it's out of reach. They think somebody told them, dude, you can't have that.
Here's what I think is happening, man.
Yeah.
I think they deep down know they can't make $1 billion or 100 million, and so they shut down completely. I think if
You see, he said 2 times and that's all. He didn't try. So basically what his audience is going to see is that the host of the show, the guy that I'm subscribed to, the guy that I'm looking up to, has an opinion, is different than Gary's, but then Gary is right. And then our host, again, the authority in this show, is going to say, okay, so he is now convinced and that's all. So who should I pay attention to? I'm subscribed to Cardone, but maybe I should be subscribed to Gary Vaynerchuk. That's the problem. This is going to be really funny. Now Grant actually comes with a different perspective, comes with a different opinion, but he doesn't have the courage anymore to actually say, this is what I think and I think you're wrong. He says it like, or things could be this way, possibly. Watch this, it's really funny.
I'm not gonna go and do it.
Yeah, or is the advice they've been given possibly incorrect?
possibly incorrect. This is where actually he asked for Gary's permission, or he actually thinks, oh, maybe I'm not exactly right, but I don't want to go fully. I don't want to go all in with my statements.
I have a younger sister, 3.5 years younger, and my brother AJ, 11 years younger.
And are they as successful as you are?
I don't know, just like asking if my brother is as successful for me it equates to like, is your brother as smart as you are? Is your brother as, I don't know, beautiful as you are? I don't think that this is an appropriate question. First of all, because it kind of tends to generate, maybe later on, to generate, you know, frictions between brothers or friends. It's like, oh, wow, so you think you are more successful than me. And those things in years and years, it actually build up into huge, I don't know, huge conflicts. So I would not do that.
Are they as successful as you are?
My brother's my partner in Vayner.
You see, actually, Gary, at first he tries to avoid to answer, yeah, he's not that successful.
Are they as successful as you are?
My brother's my partner in VaynerMedia.
Okay.
So by proxy,
is he as successful as you then?
You see, Grant doesn't take a no for an answer.
no.
You're the alpha dog.
Yes, but
So same family.
yes.
Same rules.
Yep.
Same messages.
DNA. D-N-fucking-A.
Of course, Gary actually landed one more time, like as the alpha male.
How does he play the legacy game out and the financial game? Because we live on an
You are going to see the one time when actually Gary kind of agrees or says something that Grant wants. You are going to see what Grant does.
economic
By
plan.
playing the financial game first.
Yes. Thank you.
You can't worry about being.
I'm glad you came around, man.
No, you are not glad that he came around because he destroyed your authority. But one time they agree, and Grant actually says thank you. He's like so happy that at least one time Gary agreed or said something that he maybe says a lot. But that again undermines your authority because you are looking up to Gary. You are seeing what Gary is saying as, I don't know, the status quo.
And the best way to make real money, wealth, not being rich, is to do things for the long term because his life continues at 31.
Sure.
How old are you?
57.
I'm 40.
Throughout the video, the interview, you're going to see that it's kind of like also a contest, like a competition between those two guys.
How old are you?
57.
I'm 40.
Yeah.
Look at you. You act like you're 21.
Yeah.
I look at you. I'm like
You're
17.
saying
more
I'm
fucking-
immature or what?
No.
You know, he plays very nice. But I'm not, you know, this kind of is not the way to deal with a guy like Gary. Definitely not the way. At one time, Grant is actually going to dominate the discussion. I think this is the only time. Look at this.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Nope. Gary at VaynerMedia.com.
Gary at VaynerMedia, man. Why are you complicated, dude?
I'm complicated.
Okay, no, you're not.
Complicated
You're a
is
simple guy,
interesting.
and that's why you're doing well.
Grant, this is exactly your image. You see now how actually Gary looks at you. You have the charisma. Right now, you have the authority. When you do this, you are in power.
I'm complicated.
Okay, no, you're not.
Complicated
You're a
is
simple guy,
interesting.
and that's why you're doing well.
That was perfect, and I loved how you managed that one.
How much money you got on you right
You are going to see a bit more competition.
now? We on right now? Dude, this is debt right there.
You have how much?
I got more than you.
When I turned 14 and got in my dad's business, the first thing he taught me was that. And it saved my ass.
You are going to see one more time Grant is going to undermine his authority, asking Gary, okay, what's that? And then as Gary explains, okay, this is word is bond, he will, oh, okay, I understand. But that makes him a student and makes Gary a teacher. Look at this.
The same reason.
Word.
Word is bond.
Oh,
Word is bond. Word is bond.
You see how he's like, he agrees, okay, I understand. It's just like a teacher teaching his student, but Grant is the student.
Because when you have this much level of charisma,
But what's that got to do with pulling the flower?
I'll explain.
Okay.
Oh my God, Grant gets really, really burned. You see, he tries to interrupt, and Gary really sharp, really fast, as I'll explain, and then he moves on, and Grant says like, oh, okay. It's like, okay.
This much level of charisma,
But what's that got to do with pulling the flower?
I'll explain.
Okay.
When you have as much salesmanship and charisma and story capabilities as I do, this is just the truth.
Yeah.
You can manipulate. I can make anything happen. I can
You are going to see again the competition.
fundamentally make almost any human do anything. I'm being dead serious.
Make me do something right now.
Make me do something. You see, it's a competition. It's between you and me. Gary says I can make anybody do anything. It's like make me do something.
I'll make you do something without you knowing, and then I'll tell you the story of how it happened.
Okay, I like that.
You see how he makes himself so small.
Going, and then I'll tell you the story of how it happened.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, good. So
Wow, man. Am I going to like this?
You're gonna love it.
Okay.
You see, he actually undermines every authority that he has, every drop, every last drop. He actually let Gary to run him over and over again.
That's dangerous.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Well,
Hitler. That's a cult.
If the intent's bad.
Correct.
He tries to interrupt, or not interrupt, but to complete, to say something, like add another layer on top of what Gary is saying, and Gary kind of distance himself. He doesn't allow him to actually interrupt him, and then when he finally finishes, he says, correct, like I'm the teacher, you are the student, I tell you when you are right and you are not.
If the intent's bad.
Correct. Tell by your body language. You guys see how hard I'm working now. Think about what I was doing when I didn't have it.
Who works harder, me or you?
Me.
How do you know that?
100%.
How do you know that?
You just can't be working 18 hours a day every day the way I am. I just don't think you are. I just believe it in my heart.
You don't really know anything about me.
You're right.
So Grant actually offers himself on a silver plate, like who works harder than me and you. Obviously, what would you expect? Would you expect that Gary would say, I think you work harder than me? No, of course, the man is a beast, the man is a machine. Maybe you should say, okay, who works harder, you or Bill Gates? And this would actually point to the direction that is not necessarily how much you work, it's how smart you work. Yeah, so, but I would not leave it there. I would not just, leave it there.
Who works harder, me or you?
Me.
I got two questions for you, okay?
So he has two questions. Those are Grant's daughters, and what happens?
They're going to play them right up here, okay? And then we'll insert it.
Good.
My question is, why did you come to my father's studio?
Watch this.
And why did you come to my daddy's studio?
Great questions. First of all, big statement.
Yeah.
Thank God the girls look like your wife.
Gary, a lot of time I noticed that he makes like jokes that are kind of funny, but they are funny in a way that puts people down.
Thank God the girls look like your wife.
Yeah.
Second.
Well, they're not my kids.
Oh God, is that?
Well, they're not my kids. Well, that would be the worst answer possible. Like, this guy runs you over, fucks your authority to the ground, and then you actually allow him to pull this one off and say, oh, those are not my kids, and basically you deny your kids just because you don't want to get into a conflict, like because you want to respect this guy. Fuck that. I would stick to my kids, I would stick to my family, I would stick to my audience, and I will, again, very nicely, I will make a joke, I will make something that will teach Gary, hey, you don't fuck with me this way because I can fuck you back.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I don't know.
You say, I don't know, he just plays nice, I don't know, but I don't know ruins your authority, ruins your image, and your audience and also your family is paying attention. I would not let Gary have this one for $1 million.
Second,
I
I got
have no
it.
proof, dude.
I get it. Second of all,
They look like my
do
neighbors,
I have a
He makes another joke, he interrupts again, they look like my neighbors. And he gets burned because Gary actually continues, he ignored this joke, so he gets burned again.
Second of all,
They look like my
do
neighbors'
I have a
kids.
candy store? No,
okay.
but my two kids, 6 and 3.
So Gary talks about his kids. This would be a perfect time for Grant to step in, to step over and make a joke. I would wipe the floor with his face right now.
What would you do differently if you were me?
Oh, this is guys, this is the cherry on top, and this is for Grant. After you have undermined your authority such a big time, the worst thing that you could do towards the end of the interview is ask him, okay, what do you think I should do different? Now you ask for his advice. This is kind of like you seal the deal. This is the nail on top of the coffin. It's like, wow.
What would you do differently if you were me?
Gary is going to say, okay, you want my opinion? Let me tell you what's my opinion.
I think in a world where you're monetizing audience coming into things they pay for,
Those are his audience that he's talking about.
to find, and that's why you're doing this. And I think the more things like this, where you can provide upfront value with no clear path.
He exposes what he doesn't do well, but the audience is watching. Is like, oh, who? Us? Like, so this guy that we are subscribed to, this guy makes this mistake with us? Oh, great. So you know what? I can unsubscribe and maybe I can subscribe to you because it seems that you definitely have a better business model.
Gary, thanks for being here today.
Even the ending, this is the end of the interview, you can see that clearly Gary dominates every second. You can see that if you're familiar with body language, You can see that actually his hand, Grant Cardone's hand, is in his own space. You see how Gary is actually pulling, and also Gary has the upper hand. He has the hand on top, and that clearly shows I'm the dominating, I'm the boss, I'm the authority around here, and that's all. So I think in the end, Grant Cardone did a terrible job managing this interview. And again, this is not just an interview. This is audience, this is money, this is business, this is your brand. And now I would not take things so easy, so lightly, so with a beautiful smile on my face when the other guy destroys my authority, destroys my brand, takes away my audience, and wipes the floor out with me.